So this is a kind of new comp. I just invested a bunch into Cecilia for Conquest so we can finally two-tick Lack. And I was like, you know what? Let me run this lady in. I guess she's not quite a lady. But let me run her in PvP just to see, because she brings so much stun. She's got that near instant S1 with a Soul Spring on her. And that's, you can perk that thing to damage amp or to dispel, but since DK is already dispelling, I was like, you know what, screw it, I'll put a damage amp on there, because Juno is a DPS, CC is a DPS, and, you know, we'll just see how it works. Oh, she got bonded, so. I mean, her DPS isn't nearly as high as Pansy's, but what she brings is a lot of stun lock through her CC that she does. And she also has a built-in 15% damage amp against heroes. I thought about putting Crystal Music Box on her even, but because I'm running her with UT1, which reduces the cost of her S1 by 1 mana. So see, it fires pretty quick, and it gets her right to the back line where she can really just mess around with the supports in the rear. So it's a fun way to do something different. And even if I get silenced, she's still going to physically move to Leo, for instance. So, or Cass, which is going to be great because now all of a sudden, a lot of times their DPS is in the middle. They've targeted, you know, people in the middle of the pack or people in the front of the pack, like in my case, DK. But she's all the way on the other side of the board. So it kind of changes their whole targeting. So if they have like a line of attack type movement, like Requina or Luna or something like that, and they target CC, then CC will take the hit. Or she may not take the hit, and then she'll still be alive to be able to wipe out whoever's left. There's options, you know what I'm saying? So it's just something I figured I would try. I may as well get a little something out of my investment into her other than just Conquest. I'm going to also be trying her in Protan later, so stay tuned for a video on that. Because even though she's not A220, and even though she doesn't have a 5-star UT yet, she is a 4-star UT, she's a 5-star A2, she's a tier 15 on the advancement level, and she's got a 19% bonus plus 68% on her soul weapon rerolls. So she's actually got a decent amount of attack. Obviously she'll be really brutal once I get her all amped up with A220 and get that UT 5-star on world boss stuff. But again, the main reason I invested in her in the first place was for Conquest. So the nice thing is, when you invest in heroes for Conquest, you have utility with them in all kinds of other content. It's not like CC is going to be obsolete in anything other than Lack. I mean, I can use her in World Boss, which you already know my feelings on World Boss. It's never something you would invest in a hero for. But it just so happens she's really good at Lack, and now I've got someone who's also really good at World Boss. So, that all being said, the other thing that she's going to be really great in is League of Honor. So I'm optimistic that that will help to secure me getting those, whatever they're called, the glaring honor costumes. I'm going to turn this down a bit. I have a feeling you're having a hard time hearing me. The glaring honor costumes. So she'll be really good in League of Honor. Again, she'll be really good in World Boss 2 with Protanius. She'll be really good in any single target event that may come along, challenge raid wise or anything like that. She's the goddess in you know, Conquest 2, Lack. So she brings a lot of utility to the table outside of me just investing into her for the purpose of Lack. All right, so this is a matchup I wanted to see. So the other thing I'm doing is I'm running a double bond now. I went ahead and I used all my Lewis tokens to buy a bond with the 1,000 Lua tokens from all the stuff I've been getting lately. Because the reality is I want to increase my chances of neutralizing Leo or Cass on a bond right out of the gate. And it seems it's working better. Because before I only had about a 25% chance of bonding Cass or Leo. Now I have a 50% chance. right? And if it bonds, double bonds the same person, then that's going to be, it's a 0 star and a 1 star bond I'm running here. So that's going to be, I believe, a 2.5 and a 3.5 second cooldown, or maybe a 3 and a 2.5. Either way, it's a substantial amount. So I don't know who this is that I'm fighting against. Oh, it's a computer. My word. Well, DK went down quick. My word. That was crazy. What? Who? I don't have to watch that back. Ask Tao Wow Jesco. I don't even know what the heck I was facing against there. Okay, so I'm going to stop it there. I'm glad I at least won. I wasn't really paying attention. I just thought it was a computer, so I wasn't like trying to go all out or anything. But yeah, at the end of the day, my advice to everyone is never invest in a hero for PvP and never invest in a hero for World Boss. The returns are nominal at best. Even in League of Honor, it's never worth it. Invest in heroes for Conquest. Invest in heroes for Trials. Invest in heroes for Eclipse. That's where you get your big returns. That's where you get your fragments. That's where you get your ether. That's where you get your Velk artifacts and Velk runes. If you're investing in heroes for that content, you can create an incredible PvP team. I have never invested in anything specifically for PvP. Some of you might be like, well, why did you 5-star DK's UT that does a dispel? Well, the main reason I invested in that particular UT is because it also is amplifying his S1 by 50%. And since that's his most rapid firing movement, it's particularly great in chapter content like Shakma. So there is a reason outside of PvP that I invested into that thing. Plus, the other reason is because I'm going to 5-star all of his UTs to give him maximum lines on his UT. So at some point, every UT is going to get maxed out. So I figure I may as well max this one out first as opposed to maxing out something specific to PvE, because I'm planning to 5-star all of his UTs anyway, just to maximize his lines. So that at the end of the day, I've never invested anything specifically for a PvP hero. I've never bought a unique weapon specifically for Leo. I've never invested in a soul weapon specifically for a PvP hero. I have only ever bought, a lot of you are wondering, why am I buying these? Because when you go and sell them, you sell them for double what you pay it for. Okay? But yeah, I've never done that. So you don't do that either. Unless you're just absolutely obsessed with World Boss and you just find the mechanics of it are just absolutely a blast, and that's what brings you tremendous amounts of joy, and you find that it is entirely too much fun to miss out on, and you just want to get the highest possible score for the sake of getting the highest possible score, fine, go for it. If that's what makes you happy, that's really at the end of the day why we play games in the first place, right? But if you're doing it for the purpose of returns on your investment, it's a diminishing return, because the rewards, as you've seen in all of my World Boss videos that I've done, are nominal at best. Let's just say last week I finished number 21 on the server. Okay, if I had finished number 1, you know how much more crystallized power I would have gotten to spend over here at Lomans? 750. I would have gotten 750 more crystallized power. Do you know how much money I would have had to have spent in order to have achieved a score high enough to have gotten number 1? Yeah, it's obscene. Probably about $30,000. $30,000 to have 5-star A220'd every single hero on my team in order to have achieved number 1, because that's what the number 1 guy's done. That's what the number 2 guy's done. That's what the number 3 guy's done. It's not worth it. For 750 crystallized power, if you spent even a tenth of that, hell, even 100th of that on something for content like Conquest, you're going to get way bigger returns than you ever will in World Boss. So I will never invest in a World Boss hero. I will never invest in a PvP hero. I cannot emphasize this enough. Invest in Conquest first and foremost. Then invest in Trials. Then invest in Eclipse. That's where you get your big returns. If you invest in those 3 things, those characters are going to do phenomenally well in Shaq. So I would not say to invest specifically in a Shaq hero, although you can. If there's going to be an honorary fourth thing to invest in, then it would be Shack. But essentially, if you're investing into Shack, you're investing into chapter content. If it's for, little Shack, if it's for big Shack, you're investing into conquest content, because the dynamics and the mechanics and everything like that are all favored on big Shack, along with what is favored in trials and in conquest as well. Eclipse is chapter content. So if you're investing into Eclipse, you're investing into chapter 10, which is coming up, which is all about waves. It's all about moving through and building up stacks, building up momentum, building up the power of your team. And if the rumors are true regarding chapter 10, we're going to have 8-man teams, and we're going to have 5 waves per battle in each of the chapter levels of chapter 10. So guess what? That's going to be fantastic for characters on Pendulum. That's going to be fantastic for Heart of the Abyss. That's going to be fantastic for Rey. Rey is the goddess of chapter battles, right? With her UT4 giving up to 6 stacks of 12% crit dam from her S4 Dark. So that's a total of 60% crit dam that she's given after 6 waves. Plus it's a 7.5% damage amp to bosses. So, you're getting another 45% damage boost to bosses by your 6th wave. So Rey is the goddess of that kind of content. Invest in someone like Rey. But don't ever invest in PvP heroes or into... If you invest in a PvP hero, right? Let's think of some PvP exclusive heroes like Leo, right? Where else is he going to serve you any purpose? Nowhere. He's not going to be as good as another support you could have invested into. If you had invested into, say, someone like Fallen Frey, though, right? Fallen Frey is going to be great in 85% of the content in this game. And she's amazing in Trial of Flow, right? But if you invest in Leo, he's only going to be good in PvP. What are you getting out of that? So what? You maybe are at the higher levels of Challenger, so maybe you're getting an extra 100 or so freaking token thingies, whatever those things are called, every day. So you're getting a unique weapon maybe a half a day sooner. No, it's not worth it, right? Invest in someone like Juno, though. Juno's great all over the place, especially in Conquest, my word. And she happens to also be great in PvP. So that is my advice. Oh, fuck. Really? Who the fuck killed... If you're watching this and you're in our guild and this was you, fuck you. Why is someone killing Manti on a fucking Tuesday afternoon? God damn it. This is bullshit. Chrono, what the fuck, man? Do you not read anything that I put in here? So now we got to open up another guild raid. Don't hit hard, people. And if you're in a different guild than the one I'm in, and you've somehow discovered my channel, guess what? Don't hit the freaking raid bosses hard. Use your tickets. Build up your tickets against him and suicide. Suicide with your lowest freaking hero, insta-die, and get the materials that you need to upgrade your guild. Oh my God. These people, they want to just one-shot all of these bosses, and then half our guild's left with tickets. I probably have 4 myself, and I didn't even get a chance to hit. Yeah, look at that. So now I got to wait for us to open another raid so that at the reset, I don't go into the reset with 4 tickets and end up losing out on 2 tickets and all the mats associated with that. I mean, if you look at my score, this is a side note, but it's worth pointing out. If you look at my score in Guild Raid, 0. You know why? Because I suicide and I insta-die before I can even get to a boss. I don't even get a point. I just go in there and I do it, you know? You got freaking Hika one-shotting something, Control one-shotted something, Elu one-shotted something. All these people one-shotted stuff, which would have been fine, SDS0001. That would have been fine if the rest of these people all held back, but they're all hitting too hard. I don't mind if people go in one tick, but you got to leave a couple of the bosses because there's a bunch of people in here that don't read this. They don't read what we're putting in Discord. And unfortunately, that's going to be grounds for getting rid of them here in the next couple of weeks. But in the interim, let's work with what we've got, right? So I have to go start another raid. Anyway, I'm going to do a video on World Boss Proton with CC as the main DPS. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully you learned something. Peace.